Question 1. During a product development cycle, a critical stakeholder raises a new, high-priority feature request that aligns with the product vision but was not part of the current sprint backlog. The development team is already at capacity. According to Agile principles, what is the most appropriate immediate action? A. Add the feature to the current sprint backlog, allowing the team to self-organize and adjust. B. Inform the stakeholder that new features can only be considered for future sprints after the current one is complete. C. Facilitate a conversation between the stakeholder and the product owner to evaluate the request against current priorities and the remaining backlog. D. Escalate the issue to senior management to determine if the sprint should be replanned. Answer: C. Facilitate a conversation between the stakeholder and the product owner to evaluate the request against current priorities and the remaining backlog. Agile embraces change, but changes to a sprint in progress should be handled carefully to protect the team's focus and commitment. The most appropriate immediate action is to facilitate a conversation between the stakeholder and the product owner because the product owner is responsible for managing the product backlog and prioritizing work. This approach ensures that the new request is properly evaluated against existing priorities and the team's capacity, adhering to the principle of sustainable pace and allowing for informed decision-making. Overloading the sprint or flatly rejecting the request without evaluation undermines Agile flexibility and collaboration. Always remember that collaboration and clear communication are key to managing evolving requirements in Agile. Question 2. A Scrum team has been consistently failing to meet its sprint commitments, frequently carrying over incomplete stories to the next sprint. During the sprint retrospective, the team identifies that the primary cause is an underestimation of complexity due to a lack of shared understanding of requirements. What Agile tool or technique would be most effective to address this issue proactively in future sprints? A. Implementing a stricter definition of done. B. Conducting more detailed product backlog refinement sessions. C. Increasing the length of the sprint to allow more time. D. Assigning a dedicated business analyst to the team. Answer: B. Conducting more detailed product backlog refinement sessions. The core issue described is a lack of shared understanding of requirements, leading to underestimation and incomplete work. Product backlog refinement, also known as backlog grooming, is a crucial Agile activity where the team collaborates with the product owner to break down, estimate, and add detail to upcoming product backlog items, ensuring everyone has a shared understanding before sprint planning. While a stricter definition of done helps ensure quality, it doesn't solve the understanding problem upstream. Increasing sprint length might just delay the problem, and a dedicated business analyst might create a bottleneck if not integrated properly. Regular, thorough refinement ensures clarity and better estimates, preventing future missed commitments. Question 3. An Agile team is struggling with frequent interruptions and ad hoc requests from various stakeholders, impacting their ability to focus on sprint goals. The product owner is trying to shield the team but feels overwhelmed. What Agile concept should the team and product owner reinforce and communicate more effectively to manage these distractions? A. The importance of a robust change control board. B. The concept of a single, prioritized product backlog. C. Strict adherence to the original project charter. D. Daily stand-up meetings to address all interruptions. Answer: B. The concept of a single, prioritized product backlog. Frequent interruptions and ad hoc requests are often symptoms of unclear priorities and a lack of a single source of truth for work. The concept of a single, prioritized product backlog, managed by the product owner, is fundamental in Agile to ensure all work flows through one channel, is prioritized based on value, and is clearly visible to all stakeholders. This helps manage expectations, funnel requests appropriately, and protect the team from distractions, allowing them to focus on the highest value items. A change control board is more traditional, and daily stand-ups are for team coordination, not for managing external stakeholder requests. Reinforcing this concept helps stakeholders understand where and how to submit requests. Question 4. A new Agile team member is struggling to understand the team's current velocity and how it's used for planning. They ask why the team doesn't just use ideal days or hours for estimation instead. What is the best explanation for using velocity in Agile planning? A. Velocity provides a precise measure of individual team member productivity. B. Velocity measures how much work the team can complete in a sprint, based on past performance, promoting predictable forecasting. C. Velocity ensures that the team always delivers the maximum possible features in every sprint. D. Velocity is primarily used for comparing the efficiency of different Agile teams. Answer: B. Velocity measures how much work the team can complete in a sprint, based on past performance, promoting predictable forecasting. Velocity is a key metric in Agile that represents the amount of work, typically measured in story points, a team has completed in recent sprints. Its primary purpose is to help the team understand its sustainable pace and use this historical data to forecast how much work it can realistically take on in future sprints, improving predictability. It's not about individual productivity, maximizing features beyond a sustainable pace, or comparing teams. Instead, it's a team-level planning tool that provides a reliable, empirical basis for sprint planning. Remember, velocity is a planning tool for the team, not a performance metric for individuals or for comparing teams. Question 5. An Agile team is practicing continuous integration. However, the build frequently fails, and identifying the root cause is time-consuming, leading to delays. What is the most effective Agile practice to mitigate this recurring issue? A. Implementing feature branching with long-lived branches. B. Increasing the frequency of manual testing before committing code. C. Adopting a stop-the-line approach for build failures. D. Assigning a dedicated build engineer to the team. Answer: C. Adopting a stop-the-line approach for build failures. Continuous integration aims for a constantly working product, and frequent build failures undermine this goal. Adopting a stop-the-line approach means that when the build breaks, the team immediately stops new development work to focus on fixing the build, ensuring it's stable before proceeding. This emphasizes immediate problem resolution and prevents the accumulation of issues, which is far more effective than trying to manage long-lived branches or increasing manual testing after the fact. While a dedicated build engineer could help, it doesn't instill the collective responsibility for build health that stop-the-line promotes. The most important thing is to fix problems as soon as they arise, especially in continuous integration. Question 6. A project stakeholder is insistent on receiving a detailed, fixed-price contract for an upcoming Agile project, despite the product owner emphasizing the benefits of an adaptive approach. The team recognizes the need for flexibility but also the stakeholders' concerns about budget. What Agile contract type would be most suitable to bridge this gap, balancing flexibility with cost control? A. Time and materials, T&M, contract with no cap. B. Fixed price, fixed scope contract. C. Money for nothing and do nothing contract. D. Target cost contract with a shared savings clause. Answer: D. Target cost contract with a shared savings clause. When stakeholders require budget predictability but the project needs Agile flexibility, a target cost contract with a shared savings clause, also known as a fixed-price incentive fee or similar, can be a good compromise. This contract type sets an agreed-upon target cost, and if the project comes in under that cost, both parties share the savings. If it goes over, the supplier may absorb some of the overrun, incentivizing efficiency while still allowing for scope flexibility within a cost framework. A fixed-price, fixed-scope contract contradicts Agile adaptability, and a pure T&M contract offers little cost predictability. The money-for-nothing and do-nothing contract is ideal for Agile, but might be too radical for a stakeholder seeking more control. This type of contract provides incentives for efficiency while allowing for changes. Question 7. During a sprint review, a key stakeholder expresses dissatisfaction with a recently completed feature, stating it does not meet their fundamental needs, despite having been demoed in earlier stages. The product owner is surprised, as they believed the feature aligned with initial requirements. What Agile principle was most likely neglected or poorly executed, leading to this discrepancy? A. Self-organizing teams. B. Regular reflection and adaptation. C. Continuous stakeholder collaboration. D. Sustainable pace. Answer: C. Continuous stakeholder collaboration. The scenario highlights a gap between stakeholder expectations and delivered value, despite earlier demos. This strongly suggests a breakdown in continuous stakeholder collaboration, which is a core Agile principle. Agile emphasizes frequent, direct interaction with stakeholders throughout the project lifecycle to gather feedback, clarify needs, and ensure alignment, rather than relying solely on initial requirements or formal reviews. While regular reflection is important, it won't fix a lack of ongoing engagement. Self-organizing teams and sustainable pace are internal team characteristics that don't directly address the external stakeholder alignment issue. Make sure to keep stakeholders actively involved, not just informed, to build the right product. Question 8. An Agile team is experiencing a high number of technical dependencies with another team, leading to frequent blocks and rework. Both teams are co-located, but communication regarding these dependencies is reactive rather than proactive. What Agile practice would best improve the situation? A. Increasing the frequency of daily stand-ups for both teams. B. Implementing a Scrum of Scrums meeting. C. Centralizing all dependency management with the project manager. D. Establishing a strict formal change management process. Answer: B. Implementing a Scrum of Scrums meeting. When multiple Agile teams have interdependencies, a Scrum of Scrums meeting is a common and effective Agile practice to coordinate efforts and proactively manage those dependencies. This meeting typically involves representatives from each Scrum team, often the Scrum Masters or designated team members, who discuss progress, upcoming work, and potential impediments, specifically focusing on cross-team coordination. While daily stand-ups are crucial for individual teams, they don't solve inter-team communication. Centralizing dependency management with one person can create a bottleneck, and a strict formal change process is less agile. A Scrum of Scrums helps foster proactive communication and early detection of inter-team issues. Question 9. A product owner is struggling to prioritize an extensive product backlog for an upcoming release. Several stakeholders have conflicting views on which features are most important, and technical debt has also accumulated. What Agile technique or principle should the product owner apply to effectively manage and prioritize the backlog? A. Defer all technical debt resolution until after the release. B. Implement a weighted shortest job first, WSJF, approach. C. Prioritize strictly by stakeholder seniority. D. Create separate backlogs for each stakeholder. Answer: B. Implement a weighted shortest job first, WSJF, approach. When facing conflicting stakeholder priorities and a large backlog, a structured prioritization technique like weighted shortest job first, WSJF, is highly effective. WSJF calculates the cost of delay, including business value, time criticality, risk reduction, and opportunity enablement, and divides it by the job size, effort, helping to objectively sequence work that maximizes economic benefit. This provides a data-driven way to resolve conflicts and make informed decisions, rather than relying on seniority or creating separate, uncoordinated backlogs. Deferring technical debt entirely can lead to bigger problems later, so it should also be strategically addressed alongside new features. WSJF helps bring an objective, value-driven approach to complex prioritization. Question 10. During an Agile project, the team uncovers a significant technical risk that could impact the product's long-term scalability and maintenance. This risk was not initially identified. What is the most agile-aligned way to address this new risk? A. Document the risk and include it in the risk register for periodic review. B. Create a spike to investigate the risk and identify potential mitigation strategies. C. Immediately stop current development and dedicate the entire team to mitigate the risk. D. Inform the product owner and let them decide whether to address it or defer it to a later phase. Answer: B. Create a spike to investigate the risk and identify potential mitigation strategies. When a new, significant technical risk is uncovered in an Agile project, the most Agile-aligned approach is to create a spike. A spike is a short, time-boxed investigation or research effort aimed at gaining knowledge, reducing uncertainty, or finding a solution to a technical problem or risk. It allows the team to learn just enough to make an informed decision about the best mitigation strategy without committing to a full implementation up front. While documenting the risk is good, it doesn't proactively address it. Stopping all development is an overreaction, and simply deferring the decision to the product owner without sufficient technical information might not be the most informed choice. Spikes are your go-to for exploratory learning in Agile. Question 11. An Agile team is transitioning from using story points for estimation to elapsed time, hours/days. What potential negative consequence might arise from this change, according to Agile best practices? A. Increased accuracy in sprint forecasts. B. Greater focus on delivering business value. C. Pressure on individual team members to meet time-based targets. D. Reduced need for product backlog refinement. Answer: C. Pressure on individual team members to meet time-based targets. While estimating in hours or days might seem more precise, it often leads to several negative consequences in an Agile context. One major issue is that it can create pressure on individual team members to meet specific time-based targets, shifting the focus from collaborative problem-solving and value delivery to individual task completion under duress. Story points, being relative and abstract, encourage team-level estimation and a focus on complexity and uncertainty rather than elapsed time, promoting more accurate overall team forecasting without individual pressure. This pressure can stifle collaboration and even lead to less accurate estimates due to overcommitment. Remember, story points help focus on relative effort, not absolute time, which reduces individual pressure. Question 12. A newly formed Agile team is struggling to establish a consistent definition of done, DoD. Some team members believe a DoD should be very strict to ensure quality, while others prefer flexibility to allow for faster delivery. Who is primarily responsible for facilitating the creation and agreement on the definition of done for the team? A. The project manager. B. The product owner. C. The Scrum master. D. The senior developer. Answer: C. The Scrum master. The Scrum master is primarily responsible for facilitating the Scrum process, which includes helping the team establish and adhere to its practices and agreements, such as the definition of done, DoD. While all team members contribute to creating the DoD, the Scrum Master coaches them through the discussion, ensures everyone understands its importance, and helps the team reach a consensus that balances quality and delivery. The product owner focuses on what to build, not how it's built, and a project manager isn't typically part of a self-organizing Agile team structure in this capacity. The DoD is a critical artifact for team quality and transparency, and the Scrum Master guides the team in establishing it. Question 13. An Agile team has implemented a Kanban system to manage its workflow. They consistently observe a bottleneck at the testing column, with work in progress, WIP, accumulating there. What is the most appropriate Kanban principle to apply to address this bottleneck? A. Continuously deliver. B. Visualize the workflow. C. Manage flow, limit WIP. D. Make policies explicit. Answer: C. Manage flow, limit WIP. The core of Kanban is about managing and improving the flow of work. When a bottleneck occurs, and WIP accumulates, the most direct and effective Kanban principle to address this is, manage flow, limit WIP. By explicitly limiting the amount of work in progress, especially in the testing column, the team is forced to swarm and collaborate on getting items through the bottleneck, rather than starting new work. This helps uncover systemic issues, improve efficiency, and smooth the overall flow. Visualizing the workflow helps identify the bottleneck, but limiting WIP is the action to resolve it. Always remember to stop starting, start finishing to improve flow. Question 14. During an Agile project, a critical team member unexpectedly leaves the organization. The team is now short-staffed for the remainder of the current sprint. What is the best Agile response to this situation? A. Assign the departing member's tasks to other team members and expect them to complete them. B. Cancel the current sprint and restart with a new sprint plan. C. Renegotiate the sprint scope with the product owner and stakeholders, focusing on the highest priority items. D. Bring in a new team member immediately to fill the gap, without onboarding time. Answer. C. Renegotiate the sprint scope with the product owner and stakeholders, focusing on the highest priority items. An unexpected loss of a team member significantly impacts a sprint's capacity. The most agile response is to adapt the plan by renegotiating the sprint scope with the product owner and stakeholders. This involves transparently communicating the reduced capacity and collaboratively deciding which highest priority items can realistically be completed, ensuring the team remains focused on delivering value without overcommitment. Canceling the sprint might be too drastic unless the impact is catastrophic, and simply reassigning tasks without adjusting scope leads to burnout and missed commitments. Bringing in a new team member takes time for onboarding and won't immediately solve the current sprint's capacity issue. Agile is about adapting to change, and this is a prime example of such a need. Question 15. A highly experienced developer on an Agile team frequently works in isolation, delivering complex features without much collaboration or seeking early feedback from other team members. While their code is generally high quality, integration issues often arise at the end of the sprint, causing delays. What Agile value is most being undermined in this scenario? A. Openness. B. Respect. C. Courage. D. Commitment. Answer. A. Openness. The scenario describes a team member working in isolation and delivering work late in the sprint, leading to integration issues. This undermines the Agile value of openness, which emphasizes transparency in work, progress, and challenges, as well as being open to feedback and collaboration. While the developer might be committed to their individual work, their lack of collaboration and early feedback seeking prevents the team from collectively owning the solution and integrating continuously. Openness fosters an environment where potential issues are identified early through shared understanding and continuous integration, rather than at the last minute. Embrace being open about your work and seeking feedback early and often. Question 16. A team is using a burn-down chart to track progress within a sprint. The burn-down line is consistently flat for the first half of the sprint and then drops sharply towards the end. What does this pattern most likely indicate about the team's Agile practices? A. The team is effectively prioritizing tasks and deferring low-value items. B. The team is integrating work continuously throughout the sprint. C. The team is performing mini waterfalls within the sprint, pushing testing and integration to the end. D. The team's estimates are consistently accurate. Answer. C. The team is performing mini waterfalls within the sprint, pushing testing and integration to the end. A burn-down chart that stays flat for a long time and then drops sharply, often called hockey sticking, is a common indicator that the team is not truly working incrementally or integrating continuously. Instead, it suggests that tasks are being developed in isolation, and significant testing, integration, or bug fixing is being pushed to the very end of the sprint, resembling a mini waterfall approach. Agile promotes continuous integration and a steady pace of work completion, leading to a more gradual, downward-sloping burn-down line. This pattern often means work is not done until late, hiding true progress and increasing risk. Strive for a steady burn-down by integrating and completing work consistently. Question 17. An Agile coach observes that the team is frequently getting stuck on design decisions, leading to lengthy debates and delays. Team members seem hesitant to make independent choices, often waiting for the product owner or Scrum Master to provide definitive answers. What aspect of Agile adoption needs to be strengthened in this team? A. Value-driven delivery. B. Continuous improvement. C. Self-organization. D. Stakeholder engagement. Answer: C. Self-organization. The scenario describes a team struggling with making design decisions independently and waiting for external guidance. This is a clear indicator that the principle of self-organization needs to be strengthened. Agile teams are empowered to determine the best way to accomplish their work, which includes making technical design decisions collaboratively and independently. Over-reliance on a product owner or Scrum Master for such decisions stifles the team's growth, autonomy, and ability to adapt quickly. While other aspects are important, empowering the team to make its own decisions is fundamental to true Agile self-organization. Encourage the team to own their technical decisions and learn from their choices. Question 18. An Agile team is struggling with frequent context switching due to team members being pulled onto multiple projects simultaneously. This leads to reduced focus and missed sprint commitments. Which Agile principle is being violated, and how should it be addressed? A. Inspect and adapt, by conducting more frequent retrospectives. B. Value-driven delivery, by reprioritizing the product backlog. C. Focus, by ensuring team members are dedicated to one project at a time. D. Transparency, by making all project assignments visible to the team. Answer: C. Focus, by ensuring team members are dedicated to one project at a time. Frequent context switching directly undermines a team's ability to focus, a core Agile principle. Agile teams perform best when their members can dedicate their attention and effort to a single project or product, minimizing the overhead and delays associated with switching between different tasks and mental models. While other options have merit in different contexts, the most direct solution to frequent context switching is to promote focus by advocating for dedicated team assignments. This allows team members to deeply engage with the work, build collective knowledge, and maintain a sustainable pace. Remember, multitasking often leads to doing more things, but accomplishing less overall. Question 19. A new product owner, accustomed to traditional project management, is attempting to create a comprehensive, detailed product roadmap extending 18 months into the future with specific features and timelines. The Agile team expresses concern about the rigidity of such a plan. What Agile approach to roadmapping should the Scrum Master coach the product owner on? A. Creating a fixed scope contract to ensure commitment to the roadmap. B. Developing a high-level, theme-based roadmap with flexibility for evolving details. C. Deferring all roadmap planning until the team has established a stable velocity. D. Insisting on a detailed, feature-level roadmap to manage stakeholder expectations. Answer: B. Developing a high-level, theme-based roadmap with flexibility for evolving details. Agile roadmapping embraces the reality of change and uncertainty. Instead of a rigid, detailed 18-month plan, an Agile roadmap should be high-level and theme-based, focusing on strategic goals, initiatives, or epics over a longer horizon. This approach provides direction while maintaining flexibility to adapt to new information, market changes, and feedback as the project progresses. Detailed features and specific timelines are planned just in time, closer to development, rather than upfront. This balances providing stakeholders with a vision while preserving agility. Avoid committing to detailed features too far out, as requirements will almost certainly evolve. Question 20. An Agile team is ready to begin a new sprint. During sprint planning, the team discusses a user story that seems quite large and ambiguous. Despite the product owner's attempts to clarify, the team struggles to estimate it confidently. What is the most appropriate immediate action for the team and product owner to take regarding this user story? A. Move the user story to the next sprint, hoping it will become clearer later. B. Break down the user story into smaller, more clearly defined stories. C. Assign the user story to the most experienced developer to handle the ambiguity. D. Increase the story point estimate significantly to account for the uncertainty. Answer: B. Break down the user story into smaller, more clearly defined stories. When a user story is large and ambiguous, it's a fat story that needs to be broken down. The most appropriate immediate action is to decompose it into smaller, more manageable user stories that are clearer, more estimable, and can be completed within a single sprint. This practice, often done during product backlog refinement, reduces uncertainty, improves understanding, and makes the work more predictable. Simply moving it, assigning it to one person, or inflating the estimate without clarification doesn't address the root problem of ambiguity and high risk. Always aim for user stories that are invest compliant, independent, negotiable, valuable, estimable, small, testable. Question 21. A key stakeholder is frequently bypassing the product owner and directly asking team members for status updates and new feature requests. This is causing confusion and distraction for the team. Which Agile role is being undermined, and what should be done? A. The Scrum Master's role: they should enforce stricter communication rules. B. The product owner's role: they should reinforce themselves as the single point of contact for the product backlog. C. The development team's self-organization: they should ignore direct requests and only follow the sprint backlog. D. The Agile coach's role: they should mediate all stakeholder interactions. Answer: B. The product owner's role: they should reinforce themselves as the single point of contact for the product backlog. The product owner is the single individual responsible for maximizing the value of the product resulting from the work of the development team. This includes managing the product backlog and being the authoritative source for requirements. When stakeholders bypass the product owner, it undermines this role and creates confusion and potential distractions for the team. The product owner must actively reinforce their role as the primary conduit for all product-related communications and requests, ensuring a single, prioritized backlog and protecting the team from external noise. The Scrum Master can coach, and the team should defer, but the PO owns the relationship and backlog. Question 22. An Agile team has delivered an increment, and during the sprint review, stakeholders provide extensive feedback, much of which suggests significant changes to features already considered done. The product owner is concerned about how to incorporate this feedback without derailing the project. What is the best Agile approach to handle this situation? A. Reject the feedback for done features and explain that changes can only apply to future work. B. Create a new, separate backlog item for each piece of feedback and prioritize them against existing work. C. Incorporate all feedback immediately into the current sprint, even if it means extending the sprint. D. Convene a separate meeting with stakeholders to discuss the feedback and gain their formal sign-off on the current increment. Answer: B. Create a new, separate backlog item for each piece of feedback and prioritize them against existing work. Agile embraces feedback as a natural part of the iterative development process, even for done features. The best Agile approach is to treat feedback as new information that may lead to new or modified requirements. These should be captured as new product backlog items, alongside all other potential work, and then prioritized by the product owner based on value, cost, and feasibility. This ensures that the feedback is considered fairly within the broader context of the product roadmap, without derailing the current sprint or ignoring valuable input. Agile is about continuous adaptation, not rigid adherence to initial plans. Question 23. An Agile team is finding it difficult to hold truly engaging and productive retrospectives. Discussions often devolve into finger-pointing, or they become superficial, failing to identify actionable improvements. What technique or approach should the Scrum Master employ to foster a more effective retrospective? A. Invite senior management to the retrospective to ensure accountability. B. Use various facilitation techniques, such as sailboat, mad, sad, glad, or start, stop, continue. C. Shorten the retrospective duration to avoid fatigue. D. Focus primarily on individual performance issues to address root causes. Answer: B. Use various facilitation techniques, such as sailboat, mad, sad, glad, or start, stop, continue. Retrospectives are crucial for continuous improvement, but they can become ineffective without proper facilitation. The Scrum Master's role includes employing various facilitation techniques to make retrospectives engaging, safe, and productive. Techniques like sailboat, mad, sad, glad, or start, stop, continue provide structured ways for teams to reflect on their processes, identify successes and challenges, and brainstorm actionable improvements in a collaborative and non-confrontational manner. Inviting senior management can inhibit openness, shortening the duration might lead to superficial discussions, and focusing on individual performance can be detrimental to team cohesion. The goal is a safe space for collective learning. Question 24. A project has been initiated using an Agile approach. As the project progresses, the regulatory environment shifts, introducing new compliance requirements that were not anticipated. The product owner is unsure how to integrate these non-functional requirements without disrupting the planned feature development. What is the most Agile-aligned approach? A. Prioritize the regulatory compliance work as high-priority product backlog items. B. Delegate all compliance work to a separate, external team to avoid impacting the current team. C. Pause all feature development until all new compliance requirements are fully understood and documented. D. Add the compliance requirements as technical debt to be addressed in future releases. Answer: A. Prioritize the regulatory compliance work as high-priority product backlog items. Agile embraces change, even significant ones like new regulatory compliance requirements. The most Agile-aligned approach is to treat these non-functional requirements as high-priority product backlog items. The product owner, in collaboration with the team and stakeholders, should assess their impact, break them down into manageable stories, and prioritize them alongside existing features based on urgency, value, and risk. This ensures they are integrated into the regular development flow, maintaining transparency and allowing the team to adapt. Delegating, pausing all work, or deferring as technical debt without explicit prioritization are less adaptive and carry higher risks. Compliance is a non-negotiable form of value. Question 25. An Agile team is consistently struggling to complete all committed work within a sprint, even after adjusting velocity. During a retrospective, it's revealed that team members often spend significant time helping other teams or addressing urgent production support issues. What Agile concept related to team commitment is being challenged? A. Sustainable pace. B. Cross-functional skills. C. Transparency. D. Focus. Answer: D. Focus. The scenario describes a team that cannot complete its committed work due to frequent diversions to other teams' issues or production support. This directly impacts the team's ability to maintain focus, which is a core Agile principle and value. Agile teams commit to a sprint goal and should be able to dedicate their full attention to achieving it without constant external interruptions. While sustainable pace is also affected, the root cause here is a lack of focus on the sprint commitments due to external demands. Addressing these demands, perhaps by having dedicated support rotations or better workload management, would improve team focus and, consequently, sprint completion rates. Help the team maintain its focus to maximize its output. Question 26. A stakeholder repeatedly expresses frustration that they don't see the specific features they requested appearing in the product as quickly as they'd like, despite the team consistently delivering working software each sprint. The product owner believes the most valuable features are being delivered first. What Agile concept should the product owner use to better manage this stakeholder's expectations and align priorities? A. Use an information radiator to display the sprint backlog. B. Conduct more frequent technical review meetings with the stakeholder. C. Involve the stakeholder more deeply in backlog prioritization and refinement. D. Provide the stakeholder with a detailed Gantt chart of future features. Answer: C. Involve the stakeholder more deeply in backlog prioritization and refinement. The core issue is a misalignment of expectations and priorities between the stakeholder and the product owner. To manage this effectively and foster alignment, the product owner should involve the stakeholder more deeply in the process of backlog prioritization and refinement. By actively participating, the stakeholder gains a better understanding of the overall product vision, the rationale behind prioritization decisions, and the trade-offs involved. This shared understanding reduces frustration and builds trust, reinforcing the Agile principle of continuous stakeholder collaboration. A Gantt chart is a traditional tool and goes against Agile flexibility, while information radiators and technical reviews alone may not address the underlying priority differences. Question 27. An Agile project team decides to adopt a definition of ready for user stories before they are pulled into a sprint. Which of the following is the most appropriate characteristic for a user story to be considered ready? A. It has been estimated in story points by the product owner. B. It has been formally approved by all project stakeholders. C. It is clearly understood by the development team and can be started without further clarification. D. It includes a detailed technical design document. Answer: C. It is clearly understood by the development team and can be started without further clarification. A definition of ready is an optional but highly beneficial practice that ensures product backlog items are well prepared before they are brought into a sprint. The most appropriate characteristic for a story to be ready is that it is clearly understood by the development team, meaning they have enough information to begin work on it without needing further clarification. This ensures the team can hit the ground running in sprint planning and minimize mid-sprint impediments due to ambiguity. Estimation is a team activity, formal approval is often too rigid for Agile, and a detailed technical design document can be overkill and reduce team autonomy. The goal is shared understanding and actionable clarity. Question 28. A key organizational metric for an Agile project is return on investment, ROI. The product owner is responsible for maximizing the value delivered. What Agile technique or artifact would be most helpful for the product owner to track and communicate potential ROI of features? A. The sprint burn-down chart. B. The value stream map. C. The product roadmap, especially when tied to business objectives. D. The team velocity chart. Answer: C. The product roadmap, especially when tied to business objectives. While all options are Agile artifacts or techniques, the product roadmap, especially when explicitly tied to business objectives, is the most effective tool for a product owner to track and communicate the potential ROI of features. A good Agile roadmap outlines the product vision, strategic themes, and high-level goals, linking planned features or epics to their expected business value and outcomes, which are directly related to ROI. The burn-down and velocity charts are operational metrics for team progress, and a value stream map analyzes process efficiency, not directly ROI of features. The roadmap provides the strategic view for value and ROI discussions. Question 29. A large organization is attempting to scale Agile across multiple interdependent teams. A common challenge observed is conflicting priorities between teams, leading to delayed integration and a fragmented product. What scaled Agile approach is specifically designed to address alignment and coordination challenges for multiple teams working on a single product or solution? A. Daily Scrum meetings for each team. B. Implementing a big room planning event, e.g., PI planning in SAFe. C. Encouraging each team to optimize its local processes independently. D. Centralizing all decision-making with a single project management office, PMO. Answer: B. Implementing a big room planning event, e.g., PI planning in SAFe. When scaling Agile across multiple interdependent teams, aligning their efforts and priorities is crucial. A big room planning event, such as program increment, PI, planning in the Scaled Agile Framework, SAFe, is specifically designed for this purpose. These events bring all teams, stakeholders, and leadership together for a multi-day session to collaboratively plan, identify dependencies, resolve conflicts, and establish a shared vision for an entire program increment. This fosters cross-team communication and commitment. Optimizing local processes independently can exacerbate misalignment, and centralizing all decision-making contradicts Agile principles of distributed decision-making. Daily scrums are team-level, not multi-team. Question 30. An Agile team decides to conduct a spike to explore a new technology's feasibility for an upcoming feature. What is the primary goal of this spike? A. To fully implement a prototype of the new technology for the feature. B. To develop a production-ready solution for the technical challenge. C. To learn just enough about the technology to reduce risk and make an informed decision. D. To train all team members on the new technology. Answer: C. To learn just enough about the technology to reduce risk and make an informed decision. A spike in Agile is a time-boxed research or exploration activity. Its primary goal is not to build a production-ready solution or even a full prototype, but rather to gain just enough knowledge and understanding about a technical challenge, new technology, or complex requirement to reduce uncertainty and make an informed decision. This minimal viable learning helps the team estimate better, identify risks, and choose the most effective approach for the actual implementation, preventing overcommitment or wrong turns. It's about answering specific questions, not fully developing a solution. Think of a spike as a targeted investigation to gather crucial information. Question 31. During the execution of an Agile project, the team identifies that a frequently used third-party API is experiencing intermittent outages, which directly impacts the performance of their application. This was an unforeseen issue. What is the most Agile-aligned approach for the team to address this impediment? A. Document the issue in a risk register and inform stakeholders in the next sprint review. B. Immediately escalate the issue to the product owner and collaboratively determine the impact and next steps. C. Shift focus to other user stories not dependent on the API until the issue is resolved by the third party. D. Form a separate API investigation team to diagnose and fix the external problem. Answer: B. Immediately escalate the issue to the product owner and collaboratively determine the impact and next steps. An impediment is anything that prevents the team from performing its work as efficiently as possible. When a significant, unforeseen impediment like an intermittent API outage arises, the most Agile-aligned approach is to immediately escalate it to the product owner. The product owner, in collaboration with the team and potentially other stakeholders, can then assess the impact on current work, prioritize potential solutions or workarounds, and decide on the most appropriate next steps to mitigate the issue and protect value delivery. Shifting focus might just defer the problem, and a separate investigation team might not be feasible or efficient for an external issue. Transparency and collaborative problem solving are key. Question 32. An Agile team is performing well in terms of delivering features, but stakeholders are noticing a decline in product quality and an increase in bugs reported in production. The team's definition of done focuses primarily on code completion and basic unit testing. What is the most direct way to address this quality issue within an Agile framework? A. Slow down the team's velocity to allow more time for quality assurance. B. Hire dedicated quality assurance (QA) specialists to conduct thorough post-sprint testing. C. Expand the definition of done to include more robust quality criteria, such as integration and acceptance testing. D. Implement a stricter change control board to review all completed features before release. Answer: C. Expand the definition of done to include more robust quality criteria, such as integration and acceptance testing. A decline in quality and an increase in bugs, despite features being considered done, strongly indicates that the current definition of done, DoD, is insufficient. The most direct and Agile-aligned way to address this is to expand and strengthen the DoD to include more comprehensive quality criteria, such as integration testing, acceptance testing, performance testing, and security checks. This ensures that features are truly done to a high standard of quality before they are considered complete, embedding quality throughout the development process rather than treating it as an afterthought. Slowing down, hiring external QA, or implementing a change control board don't address the root cause of an inadequate quality standard within the team's definition of completion. The definition of done is your team's quality gate. Question 33. A product owner is consistently overwhelmed with new ideas and feature requests from multiple sources, leading to a massive, disorganized product backlog. The team struggles to find clarity in priorities. Which Agile technique would be most effective in helping the product owner bring order and strategic alignment to this chaotic backlog? A. Conducting daily stand-ups with stakeholders to review new requests. B. Implementing a strict, no new features during a sprint policy. C. Using story mapping to visualize the customer journey and identify key epics/features. D. Increasing the frequency of sprint planning meetings. Answer: C. Using story mapping to visualize the customer journey and identify key epics/features. When a product backlog becomes overwhelming and disorganized, particularly with many new ideas, story mapping is an incredibly effective technique to bring order and strategic alignment. Story mapping helps the product owner and team visualize the entire customer journey, identify major activities and tasks, epics and features, and then organize these into a coherent narrative that clarifies relationships and priorities based on user value. This top-down visualization helps identify gaps, prioritize what truly matters, and prune less valuable items, making the backlog manageable and strategically aligned. Daily stand-ups are for team sync, not backlog organization, and simply preventing new features doesn't organize existing ones. Question 34. An Agile team is preparing for a sprint review. A significant portion of the work committed at the beginning of the sprint is still incomplete, and the team is worried about stakeholder reactions. What is the most appropriate Agile approach for the team to take during the sprint review regarding the incomplete work? A. Only demonstrate the completed work and avoid mentioning the incomplete items. B. Explain why the work is incomplete and propose a plan for stakeholders to help finish it. C. Transparently present the completed work, acknowledge the incomplete items, discuss the reasons, and gather feedback for future adaptation. D. Apologize for the incomplete work and commit to completing it all in the next sprint, regardless of capacity. Answer: C. Transparently present the completed work, acknowledge the incomplete items, discuss the reasons, and gather feedback for future adaptation. The sprint review is an inspect and adapt event focused on transparency and collaboration. The most appropriate Agile approach is to transparently present what was completed, acknowledge the incomplete items without excuses, discuss the factual reasons for the incompletion, and most importantly, gather feedback from stakeholders. This approach fosters trust, provides learning opportunities, and allows for collaborative adaptation of the product backlog and future plans based on real progress and challenges. Hiding incomplete work, blaming, or making unrealistic commitments undermine Agile values. Transparency, inspection, and adaptation are key to continuous improvement. Question 35. A team is operating under a continuous delivery model. They have automated tests and deployments, but the overall product vision seems to be diverging from stakeholder expectations over time, even with regular sprint reviews. What Agile practice might be missing or insufficient to maintain strategic alignment? A. Daily stand-up meetings. B. Product backlog refinement. C. Vision and road mapping workshops. D. Automated regression testing. Answer: C. Vision and road mapping workshops. The scenario indicates that while the team is efficient in delivery, continuous delivery, automated tests, the direction of the product is diverging from stakeholder expectations. This suggests a problem at a higher, strategic level than individual sprints or backlog items. Vision and road mapping workshops are crucial Agile practices that bring together stakeholders, the product owner, and sometimes the team to collaboratively define, refine, and align on the long-term product vision and strategic roadmap. While sprint reviews give tactical feedback, these workshops ensure everyone is aligned on the bigger picture and the overall strategic direction, preventing gradual divergence. Daily stand-ups and automated testing are operational, and backlog refinement is tactical, but not strategic enough to address a drifting vision.